This is my guest, Daniel Alexander, and he goes by she, hers. My name is Juliet Meth, and this is the Pride and Progress podcast, and I'm the only lesbian here.
The only one in Los Angeles, baby.
I know that's right.
Well, hi, bitch.
What up, ho? I know everyone on the internet's going to be like, the internet. Oh my God, I sound like such a millennial.
I know you do.
Everyone on the Googler is going to be like, aren't they together like all the time?
I
like,
know.
He ain't no guest. That ain't no stud.
Listen, we're taking our phone calls and we're putting it on the internet. Okay.
I know, very that. Okay,
Very
okay,
that.
fine. Let's go.
I'm going to just jump right in. So you and I both grew up in big cities, but what was it like being born and raised in Miami? Do you have any experiences that stick out to you?
Well, you know what's crazy? So my parents are from, well, not from here, but my mom moved here for college, and my dad is from here. So my mom dragged my dad to Miami because she didn't want to raise a kid in like the hustle and bustle of LA because like she didn't want me to end up being on drugs and like drinking too much, and you know it worked
Cut to
great.
last night.
It worked great. But no, she thought that it would be too much, and like I honestly don't agree with that. That's crazy because Miami is like LA on steroids, right?
Yeah.
In Miami, like there's no liquor license, there's nothing. Like you party until the roof opens up. It's just a completely different thing. So it's just funny how in her head she thought that move was gonna make me like be less this way.
Less of a party boy.
Right. But it clearly, you know, she made the right choice.
Yeah, no, clearly. Cut to last night.
Cut to last night.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm not a party boy when I'm single.
Okay.
Right. And you know I'm going through something, so
I
I'm
know.
out here. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but you're out there. It's okay. I accept you for the way that you are.
You standing right next to me, so what's I say about you? Birds of a feather, baby.
I mean, listen, I can't even deny that. I'm like, yeah, I'm out there with you.
Exactly.
I am out there with you.
Although she's very sober, though, so I'll give her that.
I'm not California sober.
Well, yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the California sober.
Emphasis on, I don't want to be out here like, yeah, I'm stone cold sober. I'm like, that's not true. I just don't drink. When you were in Miami, did you face any challenges with coming out?
No. So my coming out experience was actually very, it's so funny. Like I'm not, people think I'm making this story up, but like I told my dad I was gay and he was like, do you want a cookie? He was like, do you want us to throw a party in your honor? He was like, do you think we're stupid? And I was just like, yeah, I guess I should have known that he knew when I asked him to paint my bedroom the color of Mariah Carey's penthouse apartment.
Oh my God.
He did it too. Like, remember her like iconic MTV Cribs?
Yes.
Where she's like in like the tub with heels on and shit. And so her foyer, is that how you say it? Foyer?
Foyer.
Okay, whatever. So it's like this color that she calls butterfly brown, like honey brown or something like that. And so my dad like took a still of like the pre-recorded show. And this man went to all the Home Depots trying to get them to match this color. And when I tell you my bedroom, it was class. It was all honey butterfly brown. I think I had like the Butterfly like album poster on the wall. Like I was like, clearly I was a.
How old were you when he did this?
I think it was probably like 11 or 12.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were little.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like I'll never forget my grandmother taking me to Walmart to buy the Rainbow album. And for all the gays out there, y'all know the album. She said gay rights.
She said gay rights.
Gay rights. Yep. But so yeah, my coming out experience was very also like my parents caught me kissing a boy when I was 9.
Oh yeah.
I was not new to it. I'm true to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was very like I never had like an interest in a female. I've never had sexual relations with one. I don't even know how to. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I've had,
teach you.
I mean, some of the guys I've been with, you know, I guess I have been with some females. But no, I've never had like an issue with that, luckily.
Yeah. So it was kind of like impossible for you to even hide.
Yeah, because I was just so like I was so flamboyant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think I'm less flamboyant now than I was then. To be honest with you, I mean I was like it was, but I mean that's a testament to them, right? Like they created an environment where I just didn't even feel like I couldn't be myself.
Yeah.
I just was.
Yeah.
I was in Boy Scouts. My dad was the troop master. So he was like the HBIC, and I was extremely like effeminate. And so I remember. He told me this later that like a couple of the parents came up to him and they were like telling him to have conversations with me to like tone it down because I was making the boys feel uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
And my dad basically was like, "You can fuck off. If you don't like it, you can go somewhere else."
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was very that.
I love your dad.
Yeah, no. I mean, you know, we got our issues, but he when it came to things like that, like my dad's very left-wing Republican. Oh my God, left-wing Democrat.
Yeah.
So he's always been super liberal. But yeah, he literally told him, he was like, if you don't like it, there's other troops you can join.
Oh my God. Good for your dad. I love that.
Yeah, no, he was great with that. So I was always in an environment. I think that's also why, like, nowadays I'm very comfortable being myself.
Mhm.
I've always, that aspect of my life. I mean, I have other issues. I have a laundry list of issues, but when it comes to like being myself and like standing in my convictions and stuff like that, I get that from my parents for sure.
Mhm.
That's why I've just never given a crap. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's very true. You're definitely the type of person that has no filter. I'm not gonna lie, that quality is probably one of my favorite things about you, because I'm the excuse me, I'm the exact opposite. Like, it's very hard for me to sometimes speak my truth in that way if it's confrontational. And being friends with you has taught me that that is okay.
No, and I
and
appreciate
necessary
that.
at
Yeah, because
times.
you've definitely come
Yeah.
a long way.
Yeah, I've come a very long
Yeah,
way.
because when we first met,
Yeah.
you were taking a lot of bullshit from people.
Yeah.
And I came along and I was like, so why are you dealing with that?
Mhm.
Oh, they gotta go.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, bye. I was like, why are you dealing with all
Goodbye.
that? But I think that's like, it's so weird because I feel like you're more mature than me in so many ways. But then it's like, you're 20. Oh, not me forgetting your age, 28?
No, 27.
Girl, whatever. No, but I've noticed that like, that's where the age difference comes in sometimes. Sometimes you'll say certain things and I'm like, that's a lesson I already learned. So let me try to tell you, but also like I know that you have to like learn in your own time.
Well, that's the funny thing about age too, is a lot of people will tell me that I give off 30-year-old, 40-year-old even vibes, and
daddy.
I'm period.
Daddy.
I love that. And I love that. I love that about myself, and I think that's true, but there are
Yeah.
times where I feel like I'm acting my age. Like, oh yeah, this is a lesson I need to learn in my 20s.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's so. When I first met you, I was like trying to be. Speaking of daddy, I really was trying to be like an older brother type, like telling you, no, don't do that. And I would get so frustrated with you, but then it's like, I have to realize that so many people told me not to do certain things, and I was gonna do them anyway.
Oh yeah, you got to learn your own lesson.
You do.
Yeah.
Like some things I listened to, but some things I didn't. But I think that's really, really important to just kind of like, people shouldn't shove their opinions on other people's throats. However, you should just say it one time, and if you want to listen, take from it what you will. You know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
I think that's just part of growing up.
I think so too. You just have to learn your lesson the hard way.
I
It is
know,
true though. I have come a very long way
Mm-hmm.
since.
You're
I
a lot
think,
quicker. Your bullshit radar is better.
yeah, my bullshit radar is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a quality that I'm thankful for.
Yeah,
at this
no, for
point.
sure.
Yeah.
But no, Miami is very. Yeah, it was fine. It just I had bigger plans. I had bigger dreams. I had to get out of there.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't want to be there anymore. And my coming out experience was really chill. My
Yeah.
mom was a little worried.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand though, my mom grew up in a time of also, her big thing. My mom used to like say things like, don't get sick. Don't get sick.
Oh, yeah.
And I already know
yeah.
what that, because I used to always,
You know what that
I was like,
means.
I was like, I don't have a cold.
Yeah.
I was like, and I got some Dayquil in the fridge. So like, what do you mean don't get sick? Well, don't get sick. And it's just, she grew up in a time where like she was here she was in fashion school or arts school. And all of her, I think she had like one friend left at the end of it.
Oh my God.
Like everyone was
yeah.
dropping like flies, you know what I'm saying? So her son's like this big old queen.
Yeah.
So of course, naturally, her first thing was like, oh, she got scared of that.
Yeah,
know
that
what I
makes
mean?
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, for me, my mom got scared too, not for that reason, but she was afraid that my life was going to be harder. And I think she was coming from a protective place there.
Totally. Well, I think that then
Yeah.
it would have been a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But the crazy part about that whole statement about like, oh, like if you're gay, like your life is harder. To be really honest with you, nowadays it makes it a lot easier.
I know, I agree. I'm like, my life is not harder. Sure, the dating
Right.
pool is smaller, for sure.
Yes.
Not for you.
I was gonna say, well,
Not
for you, for
For
sure.
me,
Yeah.
I mean, especially in LA, lesbians just, we don't have to get into this, but at least right now, but lesbians just don't really have much of a space.
Ooh, call nature's
kind of-
valley because I gotta get my granola.
Oh. Oh my God. We don't really have a space, and
Yeah.
it's kind of, they're all scattered all over LA. So the dating pool is a little bit smaller. That's what I will say is harder. But other than that, I feel like
I've seen.
I know you've seen.
Oh, I've seen. And I have my opinions about you guys not having your spaces, but I don't know if we're going to get on that.
Opinions. I have the same opinions.
Oh, the whole like lesbians don't leave the couch?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just say it. Let me just rip the Band-Aid off. For
No,
all you
rip the Band-Aid
lesbians listening out there, look, you know, I understand that there's this whole divide between gays and lesbians, and I think a lot of it is like animosity that lesbians have from gay men running everything.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that like there are lesbian bars that open, but you guys don't keep them open.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a huge. That's you want to support people. Go like gay men go out. They spend money. So yeah, naturally, like there's gonna be more male centered things. You know what I mean? So if you guys want more female centered things, you have to like attend them and support them and go to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. This was the first thing we bonded on.
Yeah, it's like
we don't have our own spaces technically. I think there's one bar here, but it's more of a wine bar.
Where is that?
It's called the Ruby Fruit.
Ruby Fruit.
In East Hollywood. It's in Echo Park, I think.
Oh, that's why I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think it's in Echo Park. But so there's that place. But I agree. I mean, lesbians, they just don't go out as much. And I'm privy to this too. When I get into a relationship with someone, I kind of tend to just like disappear. At least from the whole scene of it all.
I feel like I'm like that too, though. Like if I'm in a relationship, I'm definitely. I mean, you know this. I'm very homey. I love to be on the couch.
Very homey.
I love that shit. But if I'm single, that's a different story.
Yeah.
If I'm single, I'm cleaning up the streets.
But lesbians get into those relationships and then they suddenly don't go out anymore, and then the bars don't stay open. And at the end of the day, it's a business.
Correct. It's a business. And so like I just feel like when I don't know, like I've had conversations about this with other lesbians and they get so offended, and it's like I don't know what you're getting offended over. Like,
but it's just straight up a business transaction. It's not even
that's all
it's not even offensive. It's not offensive to my identity. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I understand.
There's so many men, like the men run everything. And I'm like, well, yeah. I was like, if all these men are investing and putting their money into opening these businesses and they're gay men, they're going to cater to other gay men.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like...
You have to go where the money goes at the end of the day.
Don't get fed.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so listen, I guess y'all going to the Ruby Fruit.
And our little lesbian parties that happen once a month.
But they need to hire like a twink at Google, speaking of Chaperone.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
to do the marketing for y'all's events, because those names.
I'm the twink that works at Google. I don't work at Google. But
men are very visual. You all, like the lesbians as a whole, need like a gay male representative.
I kind of agree with you, but I also I volunteer as tribute. You know what I mean? Like I'm here to market the lesbians.
God, please.
I'm here to do it.
Someone has to do it.
Yeah. I'm here to do it. I'm one of you, but I got you because I'm also a gay boy on the inside. This is completely shifting gears, but can you touch on your experience with bullying and weight loss?
Yeah, for sure. So my experience with bullying, so I think because I had like a really strong home base, even though like I would tear up in school and stuff like that, I still didn't like ever let it get to me too much. But there are like certain experiences that I still remember to this day, and I always like think to myself, I'm like, okay, the fact that I still remember this and it flashes in my head sometimes, clearly it traumatized me to some degree, right?
Yeah, of course.
So in middle school, I was definitely the guy. So I remember I had a Clearview binder, and I had Hillary Duff in the front. I had like Chad Michael Murray, fucking Lindsay. I was like obsessed with Jesse McCartney at the time. Like I'm talking like I watched Summerland. I had his albums. Like I thought he was just like God's gift to the fucking earth.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had him and I had this binder. So clearly, like I was a little Fruity Loop, you know, obviously. Right. But I was like still saying no. I'm not gay though.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like, but I knew I was. You know what I mean? Like I didn't say it aloud to anybody or my parents. So I was clearly like more on the effeminate side, and I had all these things that were like very gay centered, obviously, but. I would constantly just like deny it. Yeah. And like these straight guys in middle school would always like bully the shit out of me. Like you're an F word, you're this, you're that, like okay, blah blah blah. And like I hung out with all females. Yeah. It was so obvious, you know? And so I remember during PE, I used to go into the locker room, and those guys in there would like be like, "Oh, so you're checking me out?" And they would like, it was total bullying. Yeah. And the thing is that I was checking them out. Fully. It was like my favorite time of the day. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. Even like the smell in there and everything, I was just like, oh God, I'm gay. Yeah. That's when he was like, you're an F word. I was like, she's got a point.
Yeah, she's got a point. Shit.
And so like, yeah, and then I don't know what it is, but like in high school when I just started owning it. Yeah. I purposely like amped up the gay. I don't know about purposely, but I mean, I just became like a total flamer. I mean, it was like I was like gay, and everyone left me alone.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
The minute I owned it, I was just a funny dude. Okay. Yep. Everyone left because it's like, what are you gonna call me? Yeah. Gay? Yeah, bitch. And yeah, like, duh. I'm like, my best friend was this girl named Crystal with a K. I was out on them streets. Okay, even at a young age,
Yeah.
pulling the Four Locos from the On the Run gas station.
Yeah.
hmm
You were on the streets.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, and that's the whole thing, right? When you own something and you take your power back, no one can say anything to you.
That's actually very true.
Yeah, and I felt myself
Yeah.
amping it up though. The
Mhm.
more I amped it up, the more I got left alone.
That's fair. I feel like
Yeah.
I had a very similar experience. Like the second I owned it,
Mhm.
everyone left me alone. And that's actually when I started getting positive attention too.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's like, what are they gonna say to you at that point?
There's nothing they can say to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've had because like my personality is like very defensive.
Yeah.
So I've definitely had to. I've always been like the loudest one, the most opinionated one. I've always been the one to like say something before, but like people will be sitting in a room and they'll just be hearing somebody say the most ridiculous shit, and like I'm the one in the room that's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
You're the one that says what everyone else thinks.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
do you hear how crazy you sound? Like
Yeah.
you're telling me the sky is purple when we can all clearly see it's blue.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been that personality. So I've always had to. It was always like, Daniel, rein it in. Like, you don't have to say everything that's on your mind. It's like my mom used to tell me. She'd be like, you're right about most of the things that you say, but it's your delivery. She goes, you don't have to be the universe.
Yeah.
You let that figure itself out. Like, you don't have to. I'm stumbling. You don't have to speak on everything that is wrong or being done wrong to you.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, I still kind of struggle with that. But I think that I get that from the bullying in high school or middle school, better said. Like, I felt like I always had to like fight and defend myself.
Yeah.
And I was never going to let anybody talk to me any kind of way. But it has its pros and its cons, right? Like, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with that to this day a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that all comes from the bullying in middle school. All of that has kind of like framed who I am today, which
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does kind of stick with you because I also got bullied in middle school. And
Yeah, it's bad.
it does stick with you for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Middle school was the prime of my bullying, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of it, I was overweight.
Yeah.
And like when I say I was overweight, I wasn't just like a little overweight. It wasn't like, oh, he's just got some baby fat. Like I was grubbing. I had the fork and the knife, and I said, this Thanksgiving every day.
How much weight did you lose?
I was eating probably like in total like a little over 100 pounds
Oh my God.
total. Like, and I
So-
lost it very young.
How old were you when you lost it?
So I started doing it. So my parents, when I was younger, like in middle school, they had me. I don't know if you remember Atkins.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
They took me to like an Atkins center.
Yeah.
All this shit. Like they were trying to get me to lose the weight for sure. But
Mhm.
also like I started gaining a lot of weight when my parents were getting divorced.
Okay.
So my parents had me like in therapy and things like that. And the crazy part is that I didn't think that their divorce bothered me that much. But obviously I went through so much turmoil with it.
Yeah.
And I was just like eating everything. I was eating my feelings essentially.
Mhm.
So I didn't lose weight until I wanted to do it. It's
That's
kind of like
the way it is.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like becoming sober, right?
Yeah.
Like that whole thing, like you're not gonna get somebody sober unless they want to be.
Yeah. For sure.
They put me on every diet imaginable, and then finally, when I was 15, I remember, which is such a crazy story. So I'm obsessed with Saved by the Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like one of my favorite kid shows, and I used to watch it. And like for me, like my first crush ever, like in life, was Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
A twink.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah. That
But
makes sense.
so he was like the standard of beauty for me.
Yeah.
So I remember like not to get like all like dark, but like I used to like grab my stomach and like hit like the fat on my stomach. I never
Yeah.
talk about this shit. Oh my God, like I'm getting like a little emotional talking about it. But
Mhm.
I used to like I just didn't like myself
Yeah.
like at all. So like I had to look like that. Like that was the
Mhm.
standard to be. I'm never gonna make it in Hollywood. I'm never gonna be anything. Like I always wanted to be a star. I was like, but if I don't look like that, it's not gonna happen for me.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, I'll just become the dark featured version of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started working out, and I remember I lost the majority of my weight to this Paula Abdul get up and dance workout tape. Because I'm so into like the 80s and 90s, you know that.
Yeah.
And I love, even to this day, I love Paula Abdul. But it was like in the $5.99 bin at Best Buy. I bought it, but then and it worked. Like I did this DVD, literally it's a 50-minute workout. I did it every single day.
Yeah.
There was days that I would even do it twice.
Really?
Yeah, I was living with my grandma at the time too, and like I would tell her to only make me like one meal. Then I would have like half of something. Like I got my calories down to like 1,700 a day or something like that because I wanted to lose it fast.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
on a mission, and I lost all the weight myself. Like the chunk of it, I think like I was at my heaviest. I was like I don't know, like 275,
Yeah. Okay.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it all down by doing this video in her. I would move the bed. And to this day, I still pretty much like know all the
You
dance
yeah,
moves.
you have it memorized.
Oh, well, I did it during the pandemic at one point.
You did?
I did. I said, you know what?
Let me put this thing in.
What's Miss Abdul given? And I did the whole tape again, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I lost the majority of the weight then. And then when I graduated high school and I moved to Orlando for college, and when I say college, I lost like the last 25 pounds or so.
Okay. So it took you about 3 years, 2 years?
Yeah, it was like a gradual thing. Like I lost a
Yeah.
good chunk. Like I lost like 45 pounds.
Mhm.
Then I took a little break, and then I lost like 10. I think that's why I've been able to keep it off,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
taught
'cause
myself to lose it.
Because it's sustainable, or you did it in a sustainable way.
Correct. And I also
Yeah.
like learned about calorie deficits and like how much I need to eat for like my body type and how tall I am and how much I weigh. Like, I mean, I think at one point I was consuming like 1650
Oh yeah, you got
calories
it
per day.
way down.
Oh yeah, I
'Cause-
was like counting everything.
Yeah, because that's my deficit is 1600.
Oh really?
That's a 500 deficit for me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's 500, but I was doing, because I wanted, like, there was like this online thing that would tell you like if you want to lose a certain amount of weight, how many calories, it's not in the other. So I picked like the most extreme one.
Mm-hmm.
I said, oh, I'm going for it. I said, oh, I'm having a hot girl summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I stuck with it. And that also taught me, like, losing that amount of weight that young too taught me discipline.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
did.
I can imagine that.
Very, like, it just taught me how to, like, when you want something, this is what you have to do to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
and that's not with the weight loss, but that's a big girl.
Did you find when you lost the weight, did people treat you differently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Especially even like, it's so funny because like I remember like there was this guy that I had this huge crush on in high school, like huge crush, and I knew he wouldn't give me the time of day. But you know what's crazy? Not to like jump around topics, but I feel like I was more confident when I was bigger
Yeah.
than I am even when I'm like, even sometimes now. It's
Mhm.
really weird. Like, you know how shy I am to like approach guys and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
When I was bigger, I did not have that problem.
Yeah.
I was Delulu.
Fully Delulu.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I would just like shoot my shot, and I didn't care. Like in high school too, and I got turned down a lot. You know what I mean? Obviously, because people are vain and
Yeah,
annoying.
people are. Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny how some of these crushes that I had in high school, maybe the Facebook Messenger be blowing up.
Oh yeah.
The glow up is
Yeah.
unreal. Or like, there's this one guy. He actually wasn't even very nice to me, but he was this gay guy, and I actually thought he was cute too. But this is high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him like a couple years ago. This is like fairly recent, a couple years ago, like flirting with me on Facebook Messenger, and I said, "Oh no."
You said no, not today.
Fuck no. And also, I'm like, let me not say problematic shit. Let me be quiet. I was like, baby, I see that hairline. You and I are now no longer on the same playing field. You are no longer above me
No, absolutely not. Yeah, you didn't peak in high school.
at all.
Yeah.
Oh God, and it's funny because I wish I did. I wanted to be one of the it girls so bad in high school, so I just hung out with them.
No,
So I had to
same.
amp up that personality, right? You know what I mean? So that's where I got my wit from, because I had to be funny. I said, okay, if I'm gonna get with these hot bitches, I gotta be funny. I gotta get something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah, you gotta be funny.
right. So I was just like the funny fat kid.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So people did treat you very differently.
Yeah,
After
it's
the
just
fact.
things, and also like I got shyer too.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that too, I told you, like I was awkward until like I was 26. Like I
Mhm.
blossomed very late.
Yeah.
I've shown you photos of me like when I was 22, 23. It's not the same.
Yeah, it's
like-
like.
It's weird.
Mhm.
Like I just didn't really. I think when I was 28, that's when I was like coming into myself, and like everything kind of filled out, and like
Yeah.
I learned how to work out, lift weights, things like that. Like I just kind of like it was just like a slow burn. But when that happened, I got shyer.
Oh, that's interesting.
The more people
Do you
looked
know
at me,
why?
I don't know. And like I'm such an out there personality.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like even when I like a guy,
Mhm.
I tell you to go up to him. I don't go up to him.
Yeah, that's true. He
You know what I'm
does me. It's like-
To this day, I'm like that. You know what I mean? Like so
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just I got like this more like nervousness to me, which is weird, and I can't explain it to this day. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But you definitely had a glow up like later in life.
Later, yeah.
Yeah.
I think my Latin genes.
Well, now you still look like you're in your 20s. So it's
Look,
what brought you to LA and what was it like to move across the country?
God. Okay. Well, moving across the country was an experience, especially my mom packing my Chevy Spark, that tiny little car I had.
Oh my god. Oh, a piece of shit.
Oh, well, that's the
Oh.
second Chevy Spark I had. The one
You
I
had
can't-
two? You had
baby,
two of those?
two of them.
You had two.
Two of them. I chose to get it again. So the first one, I never get into accidents, but I did total it.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget why I totaled it. I was driving down Sunset, not to like sidebar, but I was like passing the Palladium and I was switching the song on the T Swift Lover album.
Mm-hmm.
And I was switching it to London Boy. And
Oh, shit.
they said, you ain't going overseas today, bitch. So your passport is expired.
Not today. Not today.
Not today. So I totaled that one, then I got another one because it was like cheap and quick.
Yeah, yeah.
But where the hell was I going with that? Oh, moving across the country.
Yeah.
So yeah, I drove across the United States of America by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, going through these little stoplight towns, that I will never forget that road trip. Now, will I ever do it again? I'll mark my words. I will never drive cross country again.
Oh yeah, I bet. That's probably terrible.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Also, luckily I'm like, mass presenting. So
Yeah.
like I wasn't that nervous, like, walking into like convenience stores and stuff like that. But like that was the only time that I've ever felt, because I've lived in all these little gay bubbles, that I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When I was in Australia, I was in Queensland, and we were driving to a school trip like in the middle of nowhere in Queensland. And
Oof.
it's like driving in middle America. It basically the exact same thing. Yeah. Because we were driving from Brisbane to the middle of Queensland. And we had to stop at these little camper towns, and I looked like this and I was like, this is actually kind of scary. And I'm definitely not the type to get easily offended by any means.
Right.
But it wasn't me being offended, it was me being scared. I was like,
it is
I'm
scary.
scared. Yeah.
It totally is. It is scary. Some of these towns that I was driving through, and not to be like disrespectful, but like I wondered like if they even have like, are you all connected to the interweb here? Are you online? Like, where are you getting your information from? 'Cause it's like, I went through Mississippi. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't even think that people still lived like that. Because I'm just like, I live in bubbles. You know what I mean? I grew up in big cities. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So it was very eye-opening, but I did it completely by myself. And I drove from Miami, and I was like hopped up on like basically Red Bulls and coffee. And so I got to Arizona in like 2 days, not even. And so when I was in Arizona, which by the way, the drive takes like 4 to 5, 6 days sometimes.
Yeah.
And I made it there in 2. And I remember I was coming down this mountain, and I just like my hands started shaking. I started freaking out. Like I started sweating like profusely. And I was coming down the mountain at 1 a.m, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to die. And so I had to, I called my mom, and I was like crying because I didn't know what was happening to me. And I needed her to be on the phone with me. But I remember I went to the hospital, and I told the doctor. She was like, so you drove from Miami? So how long have you been driving? And I was like, well, she goes, when did you leave? And it was like 2 days ago. And she goes, so you got from Miami to Arizona in 2 days? That's not normal.
Yeah.
Because I was driving like 16-hour days. Like I wanted to just get there.
Yeah, you wanted to get there.
And I pushed myself into total exhaustion. And I had to stop, get a hotel room, spend like a day just like recovering because of like what I did to my body, like driving here. So needless to say, the road to get here was eventful.
Yeah.
Had a lot of eye-opening experiences. And then I got here, and I was like, all right, now what we gonna do?
Yeah. But what brought you to LA in the first place?
Music and just like entertainment. Like I just wanted to be a personality. Like I want to be a musician, obviously, but I there's like just the entertainment industry in general just like fascinates me, and I love it. So I just like wanted to do something. But the first, I think that now, especially with like social media, when I first got here, I didn't really have an understanding of social media. I actually hated it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is never gonna happen. It's not gonna connect with me. I don't know. And the first 2 years that I was here is kind of like, getting my feet wet, all those things. Like, it's like you're just figuring out how to pay bills. I came from living with my mom.
Yeah.
Things like that. So I had no idea like I was just like, rip the Band-Aid off. I was like, well, I'm going to learn today. So the first 2 years was very that, and then COVID hit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Well, COVID hit right after I was like, I got this opportunity to be on a reality show, as you know.
Yeah.
And the last day that they were wrapping filming, 2 weeks after that, COVID hit, and the whole show got like scrapped from Viacom.
Oh God.
I still am so pissed.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That would piss me off. Every
time I think of it, like all the filming dates, the confessionals, the bullshit, and I'm just like, oh my God. I was like, okay, this is gonna be it.
Yeah.
I got this quick because like LA takes a few years. You know what I mean?
It does. Who was saying this? I think it was Katie. It's a 10-year town. Yeah. It's a 10-year town.
I only count living here technically 3 years because the pandemic ate up 2.5 years of it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Everything was different.
I honestly, maybe this is a trauma response, but I block it out of my memory. And it wasn't even that long ago, but I don't even think about it anymore. I feel like a lot of people do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was thriving in the pandemic. I understand that it was really, really horrible for a lot of people, but for me personally, except obviously the scare and stuff like that in the beginning and whatnot, like the pandemic didn't. It definitely like allowed me to slow down.
Yeah, I think it was positive and negative for me.
It's both. I think that anything that's that catastrophic though, it has its like yin and yang.
Yeah, it definitely does.
It changes everything. Everyone, you know, it's but yeah, like I only count myself as living here 3 years, and like I just didn't connect to the social media thing at all. And I just was like, oh god, I don't know how I'm gonna make this happen because like social media like sucks, and like I don't know. I'm gonna do this the back way, and then I like put an effort into growing like on TikTok. I said, okay, I'm gonna do this. I don't know how. I don't know what I'm doing on here. Like some of those early videos are so fucking cringe.
Oh god, I feel the same way. I have posted some very cringy content.
Very.
In like 2021, 2020, 2021.
Oh, no. And someone that's sitting here in this room right now was definitely here when I started TikTok. So was here for that whole journey. Okay.
That whole experience.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause I was like, well, I have to do this. Right. And I remember I just started. It was slow. Like a few months went by. Then I started getting like, oh, I got a video that had like 6,000 views. Then I got one that got 10K, and I thought 10K, I was balling. I said, oh, they know me.
Yeah, 10K.
I said, Access Hollywood, call me.
You know when 10K just kind of hits different?
Yeah, and I just started getting like viral videos on there, and then so that started popping off, and then Instagram gave me like the first 11 million one.
Yeah.
And then 7 million, and then I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That shit, and that happened like a year ago, not even.
Yeah, that feels
9 months ago.
That feels good, and you know you're doing something. You and I have had these conversations before. It might seem like a stupid trend, but at the same time, if you're getting that many views, you've got to be doing something right.
You got to be doing something.
You got to be doing something right.
And the thing too is, like I told you as well, like the amount of hate that I receive from other gay men is wild. But then again, it's like I saw this one video where he was like, "Oh my god, guys!" He was like, "They are throwing shade at me in the comments. They are hating on me." Oh, I've made it. I'm calling my mom. And I had to like,
I made it.
No, and I had to take it like that because it was getting to me at first. Like, I mean, it was like, especially like that Drinks for Gays video, and even my own, like the shit that they were writing, and they were even commenting on the ring on my finger. He's got a ring on his right finger. Like, isn't that so fucking 90s? I'm like, oh, I was like, y'all want to beat me so bad.
I'm like literally same.
No, like
we have the same ring on the same
my
finger.
hands. Oh, his hands look dry. Like just reaching for any damn
like grasping
thing.
for straws.
I'm like. Yeah. I even had, I told you the discourse. There was one video where there was this guy, this flight attendant that I went on a date with before the pandemic. I don't even fucking remember him. Like talking about how like I was so rude because I was telling him that flight attendants, like, you know, the lifestyle. I was like, well, what's rude about that? That lifestyle doesn't work with me.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to date a flight attendant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're just saying I don't want to date a flight attendant. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, dragging me. And then this other guy that lived at the Ava jumps in and is talking trash about me too, about how I think I'm all that and this, that, and the other. And they're just having this whole discourse about me. And I'm like, y'all think I'm pretty?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is very easy to kind of read into that and have it hurt your feelings. But at the same time, again, it goes back to you must be doing something right. I
have to be. I mean, and it's thousands of people. People that are like, oh, there was even one, I remember, oh, this guy used to be a barista at Century City. God, he was such a bitch. And it's like, the fact that you remember me and I have no idea, I was like, oh, I'm that girl. Period. I gotta keep going. Whatever it is that I'm doing.
It's a good sign.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good sign. Like I started getting those views too, not to your extent by any means, but I started getting those views too, and I was like, huh, I must be doing something right. And I also talked about this with Katie on the podcast, but I'm trying to allow myself to be more of a creative because I've never allowed myself to be that. I've always been very
background.
Yes, but also you're going to get a degree, you're going to get a stable job, you're going to get a 9-to-5, this, that, and the other, and you're going to be like that for the rest of your life. And I'm like,
why?
But that's not what I want long term. That's not my goal long term. Right. I believe, delusional as it may sound, I believe that I'm meant for something more than just that.
Well, I don't think that's delusional. That's what carries you to it.
It does. It is what carries you to it. It's like you almost have to have that delusional kind of confidence. You have to.
Well, it's like I was explaining to my mom too and a few other people, like when those stupid videos started popping off. Yeah, they're dumb, but like I was even telling you, like the attention that I was like, even now to this day, like if I walk, because even the ones like I have one that's like at 17K right now, right, that I posted like last week, and then I had another one like 2 weeks ago that's like 150,000. And it's like if I walk into any gay space, I know they know who I am.
Yeah.
Whether they follow me, whether they don't. It's not even like I have a ton of followers on Instagram. It's just the videos go viral.
Yeah.
So
totally.
it's like I know everyone in there's always looking. There's people like on their phones like doing this. Like it's everyone knows.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm doing something.
You're doing something right.
Yeah. And so I'm just gonna keep doing it. I don't know what I'm doing. I tell you this all the time. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just like talking trash, saying what I'm saying. And the thing is that like everything that I say, especially about gay culture, oh God, the gays they either like love me or they hate me. So I definitely have tested the market in that regard, that my personality is very polarizing. And people either love me or hate me. There's no in between.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I've tested this. This is like something that I've noticed, and I'm like, okay, so this is gonna be part of my career. Whatever it is that I'm doing, there's gonna be that. But I think that's a good discourse to have.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think when people either love you or hate you, that makes the biggest personalities.
Yeah, it kind of does. I mean, the most popular. Look, take the biggest artist in the world right now is Taylor Swift. People either love her or they hate her.
You know, I love her.
There is really no in between with Taylor Swift.
I know, and I don't understand like why. You know what? The thing is that they're just gonna hate you if you're successful. It doesn't matter. Like they're sitting in their fucking like bedrooms taking blurry videos on an Android, and they just hate the fact that I have like 11 million anything.
Yes, exactly.
Because I'm the one that walks around here with this like delusion, and now like they see that it's like popping on. Something is working, and now they mad. Oh,
what was that Gaga interview? Sorry to interrupt you, but there was a Gaga interview like 10 years ago, and she's I forgot exactly what the quote was, but she's saying something like, you have to be delusional. And until you're a star,
correct.
You have to be delusional until you're a star, and then they'll start thinking, oh, she was right.
Well, she was like, and I always watch that video. She was saying, she was like, I was walking around like I was a fucking star. She goes, and the delusion of it is that I wasn't anyone. But then the delusion becomes real.
Yeah.
And then everyone starts looking at you different. And it's true. Like you have to be anything, to like make it big in anything, there is a level of delusion to it.
You have to know that you're meant for something better.
Yeah, and I'm fully delusional and I'm okay with that.
I am too.
I don't care.
I'm getting to a point where I'm okay with the delusion, because I think I shamed myself for believing that I could do something more. And I'd always been told not to. Like I wanted to pursue acting when I was 22, and my parents convinced me out of it.
Yeah, because they were like, get a job.
Get a job. You're not ready for it. You're going to be rejected, and you're not going to be able to handle the rejection, and this, that, and the other.
That all the advice they give you, though, that's life. Whether you're trying to be a star or not, like you're going to be rejected. You're going to get your heart broken. People aren't going to like you. You're going to get fired.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
shit happens. Shit happens.
So it's like when parents give that advice, I'm like, okay, that's any career.
Yeah, it is any career. It is any career.
Dating, falling in love, that's the scariest shit. Are you kidding me? Because you can't control somebody else's emotions. They might wake up one day and be like, I don't love you anymore. Now what you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. And then you're really screwed. And that's what happened to me. That exact thing happened to me.
Oh, I know.
Now, granted, backtracking a little bit, I'm actually kind of happy that I'm pursuing this at 27 instead of 22.
Yes.
Because I think I'm much more developed as a person than I was at 22. And I don't know if I would have been. I think the industry would have chewed me up and spit me out if I had gone in then. And now I'm like, okay, no, I can handle it. And I know I can handle it.
No, it's same, by the way.
Yeah.
And also, like, I was such a brat. And, like, so, like, if I would have gone in any clout when I was, like, 25.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Oh, girl.
I feel like
you couldn't tell me nothing. Okay, I'd be out there like acting wild.
Yeah. A lot of people will say that you get emotionally stunted at the age you got famous. Unless you work through your shit, you get emotionally stunted at the age you got famous.
Well, yeah, especially these little kids that are like crashing and burning.
Yeah, exactly. Because how can you develop properly when you're in that kind of environment?
You can. That's what they always say. When you make it later in life, it's more sustainable.
It is more sustainable.
You're not going to crash and burn off. Oh, damn, that bank account sounds nice.